What do you want? You want the moon?
I think I finally know what I want to do with my life. I'm going to join the entertainment industry.
Abby, everybody knows you can't make any money with an arts degree.
But won't it make me happy?
Money can make you happy.
That's right, boys and girls. At Skitbags Radio, money can buy you happiness that creativity can't. We always talk to the best in Hollywood and entertainment who are going to show you how to buy the happiness you deserve. Always on Dash Talk X. And you better buckle up, saddle in, take your phone off the hook because we got a brand new ball game. Let's go.
All aboard!
Ding, 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 ding. Here we are at the WWS World Wrestling Championship. In the blue corner, we have the dubious, the dangerous, the Boston Steam Master, Rob Potlyo. And in the red corner, we have the darkest, the dankest, the dungiest motherfucker ever seen, Hollywood. Let's get ready to rumble. On Skitbags Radio, baby, we got Rob Potlyo, the godson, producer, comedian, musician, super all-around badass Rob Potlyo. What up, God?
I am on cloud nine. It has been an incredible weekend. I've been flying the Dab Falcon, and I am happy to be here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Falcon.
That's what right?
It just came to me. I've been smoking weed a large part the last couple of years, but only this summer had I switched over to dabs. And the first time I had dabs in Pasadena on my porch, I looked out and there was this majestic falcon. And the friend next to me looked up and he's like, "Dude, the Dab Falcon flies high."
Wow.
And then after that,
It just stuck.
That's
You heard it here first on Skitbags Radio. Dab Falcon.
Dab Falcon.
No. I started in Massachusetts. That's where I'm originally from. And I did not start smoking till 28 because my dad was a pretty scary Vietnam vet alcoholic and put the fear of everything in me. Was like Hulk Hogan on his heel turn. Just like, if I ever catch you with any drug, I will break your legs. And it was like very traumatizing. And so I did not touch anything. It worked with me.
That was a fucking...
Right?
He does not care. Painkillers. He's like Elvis on that. He's very old school. Elvis was like that, where grass was drugs, heroin was drugs, but not painkillers. That's for my back. That's medicine.
From my back.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah. Them damn
Grandma.
motherfuckers are coming to get you.
He does?
To Kill a Mockingbird? What, you talking about? Yeah, not the crazy dude. I forgot all about that lady, to be honest with you.
She's coming back.
Every time I think about it, I just think of that crazy trial
Yeah.
and that crazy motherfucker across the street.
Boo Radley.
Yeah, Boo Radley. Goddamn.
But yeah, I didn't start blazing until around 28. Moved to Boston, and then I needed the hardest shit this summer, so I moved over to dabs. I got a little bit of a bad kidney disease and the depression and stuff, so I needed... Oh, the dabs help with everything. They make me believe everything's still possible again.
Yeah.
I sit in my bed. I'm like, you're going to be the next Kurt Cobain, buddy.
Yeah.
And I just get all excited again. I write another song I believe in, and then the Dab Falcon flies low again, and this is shit again.
Nice.
Wow.
Right. Well,
Dabs were always pretty intense for me.
Right.
Like, I only ever smoke them now when I'm in a dispensary and I've spent, whatever on an eighth.
and they give the free one.
And they say, here, take a free dab. And I'm like, well,
Okay.
I'm not going to say no to some free weed.
Yeah. Then you're high for like the next 8 hours.
Yeah. That's the thing is that, I'm glad I don't drive anymore because I used to have to, pick up my weed in my car. And then they would be like, here, smoke this dab. And I'd be like,
You gotta take it.
Yeah.
Yo, they don't give it to you. They just
You
light it
gotta
up.
know.
They come right over here. They hood up the rig. They start blowtorching.
Boom.
And then send you out of there cooling. All right.
Damn and damn.
All right. Right. Well, I guess as usual, as we start off the show, we always start with like a TV film breakdown of some
recent
sort.
movie.
Yeah. What did you want to break down, Rob?
Well, I mean, it's very emotional for me, but La Bamba.
Oh.
La Bamba.
Yeah, it's
Bamba.
Richie Valens, 1987, starring Lou Diamond Phillips. Very emotional for me. One of the most emotional movies of my childhood. Because 90% of it's just this normal, cheesy teenager done good. He wrote a couple songs. He's going to be a big star. Then, boom, plane crash. Everybody dies. And that's your end of the movie. And it traumatized me. It made me afraid as a musician myself to ever take planes. Because it could all go away like that. I mean, this guy was charismatic. Tejano singer Richie Valens. And he was coming up. And he was brilliant. And he was only 17. And then all of a sudden, boom, dead in a plane crash.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't know. I blame that bitch Donna.
Yeah. His girlfriend, because his girlfriend was high-end, white, upper class, and Richie, nobody in Donna's family liked him.
Nope.
And so all of a sudden, he now has to go back on the road at 17 to get additional income.
Yep.
Just to get this girl in his Cadillac.
Yep.
And what happens? Boom, plane crash, dead.
Yep.
In a cornfield.
Yep.
A goddamn cornfield.
Wow.
Oh, really?
No, it went like through a bunch of trees. It was brutal. And then like they had to, it was like really in a swamp because they had to go in there like the police and whatnot with like these like, yeah, it was in the middle of a swamp, unfortunately. And like half the band was still alive. So they were like just sitting in the swamp for hours while their bandmates were dying in front of them. I mean, that was pretty brutal. Fortunately, everybody on Richie Valens' plane, dead on arrival. Boom. Nobody had to struggle in that cornfield. You
Is
didn't
this
have.
based on a real story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddy
Oh,
Holly?
you never saw La Bamba?
No.
Oh, you
Never
got
seen
it.
I figured you're like a film artisan, Shakespearean god.
You know.
Yeah. I guess.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess.
so you gotta remember, like I'm born in '91, so anything
Oh,
really before
shit.
then.
Damn, 90.
You were born in '91, really?
Yeah.
He's making 28 look a lot better than me. I feel like I look.
Aside from the
Not that
music
good.
side of La Bamba, just liking La Bamba for the music, you have to watch it for Esai Morales' brother Bob, Richie's asshole older brother who's scorned of Richie's music career, who's trying to do his art career while he's a garbage man, getting women pregnant without the condom, right in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Wow.
This is what the movie should have been about.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, Richie, he's 17, he's slight, he dies in a plane crash. But brother Bob, man, the one-liners, you know, he finds out that his woman's pregnant. It's like, ain't the first, won't be the last.
Wow.
Oh, dirty brother Bob. I got a brother Bob tattoo on my back on a motorcycle, Esai Morales. Because I loved it. I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, and this guy was just dropping knowledge.
Right. Did you get the tattoo when you were 8?
I wish. Once again, my dad put the fear of everything into me. So once again, 28.
28 was when you got all your tattoos?
28, I got 80% of my tattoos.
Wow.
Because I finally got out of the house. I was meant to be, To Kill a Mockingbird. I was meant to be Boo Radley for the rest of my life, living in the attic. And like my dad, to give you an idea, my dad had Chihuahua dogs that he would beat with a little stick, and he would get them all mean, and then they would bite people's ankles. And then when they would bite people's ankles, look, he's fucking crazy. That's not my fault. Look, he's biting ankles. And he wanted me to be like that. He wanted me to get older, be mean, vindictive. So my dad, look at this asshole living next door. That's my son. He's a loser. He's the next Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't know what happened to him.
Wow.
And he does know what happened because he did a lot of mind fuckery. A lot of it. Legendary. It wasn't just good enough to call me names. He had to break my will like a Sith Lord. Like he coached my little league team even though he did not like baseball. He did not give a shit about baseball. He just saw that I was getting into little league baseball and he's like, oh, you like baseball?
Yeah.
I'm going to be your coach. So for the 1987 Danvers Little League team, my dad drafted a team of players he hated the dads of in high school. So there's one guy, Janulis, he drafted, and literally a week into practice, this kid's on the mound. He's like, next time you dig your fingers in your asshole, everybody call them clams. Because you keep digging your fingers up your asshole, you're clams. And the name stuck with him. The name stuck with him. It was in his yearbook. So Fast forward 20 years later, my dad's watching his high school reunion on VHS, and he's watching, and all of a sudden, Janulis, this older dude, comes out. He's like, hey, look at that. That's Janulis there, Mike Janulis. I'm like, wait a minute. Jonathan's dad? Yeah, I hated him in high school.
Oh my God.
Well, why did you draft his son? Now you know. Clams.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, yo. Your dad is...
That's some special vindication, though. That's
movie. Oh my
So
God.
that's why
That's almost impressive.
I did not smoke weed. I did not get a tattoo of Brother Bob from La Bamba on my back until the tender age of 28. That's...
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty. I gotta tell you, that's movie worthy.
I'll give you...
Yeah, I would watch that.
I'll give you one more. My dad bought from his father the Santa Claus outfit that his father used to wear to make Christmas whimsical. Hey, I'm Santa Claus. He bought it at my tender age of, I was 7, 8 years old. Got gassed up on the cores, started dressing up in the Santa Claus outfit. Comes out. I have the picture of this to prove this. Makes me get on the kitchen table, strip down to my underwear, and it's like, I think you've been shitty this year personally. Let's ask your mother. Patricia, how's Bobby? Louis, he's been great. Oh, I don't know. He's been shitty. Get in your underwear. Patricia, take a photo. And I got a photo of me bawling my eyes out in my underwear while my dad's looking at the camera as Santa, looking like a cover of Rage Against the Machine and stuff. And I'm just like,
shit.
Yo, this is like the DC Comics version of A Christmas Story.
Yeah, facts. You got a great villain
it's
origin
2
story.
out of 10,000 stories, though. I mean, this guy was a master mind fucker. And literally, yeah, that's why I waited till I finally managed to get out of the house, like Shawshank Redemption style. Had to carve a hole in my prison cell bedroom, got out, and then that's when I started smoking weed, LSD, and I got literally 70% of my tattoos within like 3 months.
That's crazy.
Nice.
Wait, so were you allowed to make music in the house? Like, did he ever come wild at you about like your stuff that you do?
Because of Vietnam, and by the way, in Vietnam, I'm pretty sure he did some wicked shit over there. I think he's got a whole Oliver Stone movie in him. I think it wasn't good enough for him to go into the villages and just make sure everybody was okay, no communism. I think he lit the huts. I think he salted the gardens when he left.
He sounds like the comedian from fucking what you call it from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He does. Every description of him right now sounds like the comedian if he'd had a son instead of a daughter.
Shoot the goats. Shoot the goats on the way out of the village. I want, like Vince McMahon, I want to crush their wills.
Oh my God.
Shoot the goats. But like, yeah, I mean, he really brought the fear of everything to me. And so basically when I moved to Boston at the tender age of 28, I created a character based out of him. And I got a job at CBS Radio on the Patriots Rock station, pretty much impersonating him. Like, yeah. My name's Robbie Road Steamer, 2 pumps from behind. And I got a lot of money.
That's awesome.
Pretty much taking his mind fuckery and turning it into a character.
That's amazing. Hell yeah, dude.
That's pure Skitbag swag right there.
That's
Turn that
pretty
Thank
thing
you.
into...
beautiful.
Much love, you guys.
That's awesome.
And the character fronted a comedy metal band. I went on Warped Tour, and basically it got to the point that I found China from the WWE over in Japan. I sent her some Robbie Road Steamer videos, and she came back to America, and I helped her film a documentary. And that's what
Nice.
brought me out to California.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's dope. What was this
Nice.
documentary about? I would love to see this.
Well, I mean, basically, China was the greatest woman wrestler, in my opinion, of all time, and it was going to document her comeback. It was going to be in the vein of Jake the Snake Roberts, the resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
And in that case, it did work. Jake the Snake was down on his luck, chain smoking crack, banging 2 at a time with toys.
Smoking crack.
He was. He wouldn't even.
I've never heard that phrase in my fucking life.
When you can't even hide your crack addiction on your own damn documentary,
God.
when you're sitting in a hotel room and I gotta meet my daughter in 10 minutes.
That's fucking crazy.
But he got rehabilitated. He got rehabilitated. He got a hair transplant. He looks great again. China, we wanted to do the same thing. Her manager wanted a documentary called The Rehabilitation of China. Unfortunately, 10 months in, she died of a drug overdose. It was very brutal, but basically in those 10 months, we became best friends. I rode cross country with her in an SUV, partied with her for a week in Vegas, and I lived with her up on Redondo Beach for a couple months. And everything with me and her, man, it was like the movie Almost Famous if Kate Hudson died of a massive drug overdose at the end.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it was wrestling instead of music.
Right.
And if the music industry hated China and wanted nothing to do with her, because that's what the way it was with the WWE.
Really?
They were completely scorned because her ex-boyfriend Triple H was now becoming the head of the company.
Yeah.
And basically, he cheated on China, pretty much on camera with Stephanie McMahon. It started off as like a fictional storyline on television, and then all of a sudden it escalated to real life. And basically, him and Triple H and Stephanie had 3 kids. He's now running the NXT. He's COO of the company, some crazy vice president title like that.
Wait, what's the NXT?
NXT is WWE's minor league based out of Florida. If you're hungry and you want to see what you're worth, you go to Florida and you go down to their training camp. And yeah. No, Vince McMahon's daughter. So Vince McMahon had a beautiful daughter named Stephanie, and basically around the late 90s, Stephanie was getting on TV more and more. And at that time, Triple H was with China, and they were on the up and up too. And so basically they started a storyline where Triple H, and this is a beautiful one, where Stephanie was unconscious in Vegas and Triple H kidnapped her. Back in the old school, where you could get away with a lot of these storylines during the Attitude Era. She's unconscious, maybe roofies, we don't know. And Triple H gets her to marry him at a drive-through. And so that eventually rolled over into real life, where they really were banging. And they ended up getting married. He ended up pretty much running the company. He had 3 kids with her, and poor China was on the out and out. And basically, it led her to a life of doing a sex tape with another wrestler, X-Pac, and eventually sex tapes with wrestlers dressed up like her ex-boyfriends. Like, she did mad vindictive porn where she did anal with people dressed up like Triple H and Vince McMahon. I mean, this was a scorned woman. And you know what? If you don't have music, if you're not Mary J. Blige and you can't get that out through music, why not do vindictive porn?
Wow.
You know?
I never thought of that.
Yeah. Get people to dress up as your ex-girlfriends, go at you with some strap-ons, and send it to your exes.
Yeah, I feel like she's stronger than me. I'd end up crying by the end of that porn video. Right? It'd have to be like a weeping kind of kink. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's her kink. She uses my tears as lube.
Right. But during her last 10 months, she wanted to get back in the good graces of the WWE, and it was kind of hard. Kind of hard. On top of that, at that point, she had been making a lot of drunken rants late at night and going on YouTube and being like, Hunter, you're a piece of shit. Vince, eat shit and die. Yeah. Stephanie, eat shit. And then she tried to erase it the next day, and then dudes would be mirroring it on their YouTube.
Yeah, they downloaded and shit.
And so basically, it was really, really tough for her to reconcile because they had all this evidence of her. Yeah. She would send faxes to Vince McMahon just being like, fuck you, die. And there was just a lot over the years. Faxes. Literally probably went to CVS, paid 10 cents, asked this dude to send it through.
With a cell phone in her hand, by the way.
Like, just text
this
it
was
to
that. My mind is blown. I didn't even know. I mean, yeah, faxes. Okay, faxes. Oh, yeah, definitely not doing that myself. I don't want to be seen sending a fax.
Wait, so you guys are young. Have you ever actually had to pay something with a paper check?
Pay something with a paper check, yeah. Rent?
Yeah.
Rent?
Other than rent.
Other than rent?
Yeah, like go to a store and get your groceries or something with a straight up paper check. And then they got the machine like, da-da.
No. Yeah, what are you talking about? It's not going to happen.
Can I have a second
absolutely
form of
not.
ID?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I either just have cash or my card, or I'm fucking broke. That's the end of the discussion.
Right.
I mean, I guess now I could like Apple Pay it. I could just tap my phone on it or something like that. You know what I mean?
Modern times.
Besides rent, yeah. I'm drawing a total blank. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Right. I can't imagine any of those weirdos. Oh, maybe furniture.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Or like a
I've
job
given
or something.
checks to pay actors.
Okay.
I've paid actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, never. I would
It
never
just,
do that.
it just shows how much respect actors get versus grocery stores. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, of course. What are we talking about? Yeah.
Take whatever they can get.
I don't know, man. I had to pay them that way. That was the law.
Right? Well,
Yeah.
shoot, all that great, exciting stuff. So you've done a lot of other stuff. You done Kill Tony. You done the Comedy Store all the time, the Ding Dong Show, the Gong Show. Also, you've been on Ellen and went with stuff like that. What was all that like? Ellen, what was Ellen like?
Well, besides doing this shit with China, yeah, I do a bunch of comedy songs, play characters, obviously, and stuff. And yeah, basically, it led me out here, and I had to make some money outside of doing China's documentaries. So I got on ABC, The Gong Show. If you remember The Gong Show back in the 70s, long time ago, there was a guy named Chuck Barris. He invented the newlywed game. He invented the dating game. And they had him as a host of this variety show in the 70s. This guy also claimed he was in the CIA. He's a beautiful character. He had a
Right.
variety show that was supposed to showcase freaks and weirdos called The Gong Show. It broke people like Pee Wee Herman. You had people like Oingo Boingo, Danny Elfman, who did all of Tim Burton's music. And so basically, I thought it was going to be that type of show. And I sing songs. I sing songs at protests. A large part of what I do, I do comedy songs for police at Occupy events. I have a YouTube channel, about 10 million on the views, and most of it is basically videos of me singing to cops.
I have to hear those songs. That's
So-
one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
in
Will's
my
got
life.
a political show. What's the
yeah.
political show?
The Mix and Serve. Yeah, it's this like
So-
news show set in a bar. But I mean, I've heard like, I knew that like you did like music. I had no idea about the protest.
Yeah,
part
so
of it.
I
That's
toured
amazing.
with a gentleman running for president named Vermin Supreme. He has a boot on his head, and he promises
He's
everybody.
running for president right now.
He has been running nonstop for 30
Every year.
years. 30
like
years.
Robert William at Revia.
Yeah. And so he came in fourth in New Hampshire on the Democratic side in 2016 behind Hillary.
Wow.
And so basically he promises everybody a free pony and mandatory toothbrushing laws. And so but he's got a pretty decent cult following now. So I toured with him on the East Coast, and we'd hit like the Trump inauguration in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
and we hit like the DNC, and I'd sing these children's songs. I'm not trying to troll people, so I got the song and I'd be like, "Hey, I see the cops are all excited and Tifa's here. This song's called Hot Dogs and Applesauce. Oh, gonna snort Adderall and work at Best Buy. Everyone, hot dogs and applesauce. Come on, hot dogs and applesauce. Come on, hot dogs and
applesauce.
I was into it.
yeah. And so basically, one of them, my top video is about at 7.5 million. It's me flirting with an NYPD lady cop at Occupy Wall Street, and I start singing her a totally destroyed version of Billy Ocean. I'm just like, "You're beautiful. Let me sing you this song. There'll be sad songs to make you cry." And I do it so crappy. Tim and Eric, Adult Swim. She starts
Yeah.
smiling, and I'm like, "Do you want to watch The Notebook later? I'll get
That's
a Yankee
hilarious.
candle and I'll light it. It'll be sandalwood. Do you like sandalwood?" And she started melting.
That's funny.
Yeah, so basically I took one of these songs, Hot Dogs and Applesauce, and I went to ABC, and I went to The Gong Show, and I thought this was going to be a cool fucking show, The Gong Show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Will Arnett took it over. And basically basically what it was turning into was like an American Idol. Let's troll all the weirdos and comedians, and any little kid who knows how to juggle, we're gonna give them the award. So every comedian was getting the gong from all of Will's angry comedian friends and whatnot. And I knew they were going to gong me. I had no question in my mind they were going to gong me. And so I was playing my song to the ABC audience. I changed the lyrics. It couldn't be Adderall and whatnot. So it was like, gonna watch Star Wars with my rescue cat, everyone. Hot dogs and applesauce. Come on.
That's pretty great.
But it worked. I had to like get the lyrics screened by ABC and whatnot, and so they gonged me. And like in typical New England fashion, because I'm from Massachusetts, right when they were gonging me, I start yelling to the host, Mike Myers. I'm like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. Because you can't gong someone after their damn act. I mean, what are they gonging if I'm already done 20 seconds ago or whatnot?
That's hilarious.
They gong me. And they start crapping on me, and then all of a sudden Mike Myers gets a voice in his earpiece that the executive producer's like, he beat the gong. And so they call it. It was like a Patriots game. It was like that. It was like that Tom Brady tuck rule game where Mike Myers had to interrupt Will Arnett, who was shitting on me and whatnot, and basically was like, because the quarterback had yelled, he's done before the gong. The play has to be done over. Repeat first down. He didn't say it like that, but he just said I beat the gong.
Yeah.
And then I'm screaming at Will Arnett like, yeah, yeah. Because, you know, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. No one's really done it. It just means that they have to judge me now.
Yeah.
Like, if they gonged me and the judges were there, and they all get the crap on me, which is what they were doing. Now that I beat the gong and stuff, and I start yelling at the audience like, this is a big deal. I beat the gong. The crowd's now still starting to get into it. And so basically, before the hysterics like sort of calmed down, I turned to everybody. I turned to Will Arnett. I'm like, this show is for the freaks. It's for the weirdos. It's for the outsiders. And for some reason, that snaps Mike Myers out of his coma, and he's like, you know, he's right. This is great. And then all of a sudden, Ed Helms, who was one of the judges, was like, dude, that speech, I'm going to give you a 10.
Nice.
And now Will's turning. He's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Will still gives me a 0. The crowd boos him. The executive director comes up to me, producer comes up to me outside. He's like, you're getting back on stage. Do you know the song Shaving Cream? Which is like an old Dr. Demento tune classic. And I'm like, yeah. So they let me go back out on stage, and I'm like coming out like a fucking penalty box. I'm pointing to Will Arnett. I'm like, I'm back, you motherfucker. And just because I came back out on stage to do the encore, I got a SAG check because I was no longer a contestant.
Nice.
So I was now a performer. So they ended up giving me about $1 to $2 grand more than the winner.
Yeah.
And I got to shove it in their faces, and that's how I got
Shove it in their faces.
Well, I was pissed. I knew that rather than supporting outsider talent, these people were just, who's gonna get gong this week? Who's gonna taste the gong? Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I declared
cool,
war.
shit. That makes sense. Yeah. Once you described it and said who got hot from it, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I was missing out.
Weird Al tried out for it. The other didn't even. Pee-wee. I mean, Pee-wee's always been doing Pee-wee.
That makes sense.
But then after that, I did some background acting, Westworld, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then I got a job down the street on Hollywood and Vine scaring people at the It Haunted House for Warner Brothers for the movie.
Oh, nice.
Warner Brothers decided to have a haunted house down there, and this was a month after the Gong Show, and I felt like anything was possible. These people... Yeah.
They're doing it again this year?
Yeah. These people,
super
they
cool.
gonged me, and I came back from a gong. I felt invincible, like anything was possible. So I went in there, and I became the head scarer. So for 13 hours a day and no air conditioning in that damn house, like sometimes 110 degrees in latex and a full outfit, and I'm going unconscious, but I need the paychecks.
Yeah.
And so finally, Ellen comes in. They have the Ellen show go through it and stuff. And here's my thing. I was the leper. From the movie, there's a scene where there's like a couple of doors do not open and whatnot, and a dirty leper comes out. And so they told it to me like, when you play the leper, you have to be like you're sort of sick, you're limping and whatnot. And in my head, I was like, fuck that. I need a paycheck. So every time I came out of that door, I was like Lawrence Taylor, and I was hitting these people on the ground. I was crawling on the ground like Blanca from Street Fighter. I was scaring the shit out of people far beyond what they expected from the room. And so like the heads of Warner Brothers went through with the president and they loved it, but they didn't like the fact that I wasn't handicapped and being like a sympathetic leper.
That's hilarious.
So I did this to Ellen and her producer, and the producer just like crumbled to the ground and was like yelling to Ellen, "Why are you doing this to me?"
That's awesome.
And then Ellen came up to me and she's like, "What are you trying to say?" Because I'm like, and she like asked me, "What am I trying to say?" And I felt like this was like my moment. I felt like this was like a Christmas story and I could ask her for anything, like a Red Ryder rifle or whatnot. And so I go, "I live in a closet." And she goes, "Well, why don't you come out? It's so much freer." And all her lesbian fans went nuts back at the studio.
That's hilarious.
Come out of the closet!
That's hilarious.
And that is technically another dirty TV credit. And if I get 4 to 5 of those, I can bang a 7. No longer doing 4s. If I get 3 TV credits, I can date a 7.
That's awesome.
I got a chart. I have a chart at home.
Where did you get this chart from?
My friend PDF'd it. It's from an old AOL hometown website.
AOL.
I got 2 right now. If I get that 3rd dirty credit, like Lord of the Rings, if I get that 3rd ring, finally a 7. It's been 3 years.
Oh my God.
One date.
Hilarious. Yo, so
That's super dope.
I also saw that you produced the China documentary, but I saw you produce some other things too. So do you do a lot of producer type stuff too, or?
I mean, I love videotaping, so it's basically since the age of 14, I'm nonstop documenting everything. It's just the way of life for me. Art keeps me alive. Otherwise, I'm an eccentric weirdo. So when you go to like my YouTube channel, it is. I mean, look at me right now. I'm wearing leggings. You can see like my dick between the boxers of it.
Wow.
I'm a weird looking character. I mean, over the there's no dick. You're seeing the bulge. That's what I'm saying. But I'm an eccentric character, and with art, I can exist as myself. I mean, look at this. I'm wearing a WWE fanny pack out there.
Yeah.
It's a fanny pack. It's functional.
Right.
But to a lot of people, they think I'm just some homeless guy that wants to wrestle them for some EBT money.
That's hilarious.
But with art, I'm legitimized, and I love collaborating. I love making videos, and I love bringing people to protests and singing to cops when there's tear gas. And let's art together. But yeah, I mean, basically, it's hustling, and especially in this creative day and age, man, you have to do like several to 10 things just to survive. I didn't want to background act on Westworld. I mean, all I play on background acting is like shitty prisoners and dirty bounty hunters. Like, they don't let me do anything. They're just
That's
like,
hilarious.
shitty prisoner number 2. Hey, let me get in there. It's like,
Oh God.
but it's what I get because I'm not clean shaven and I have visible tattoos. That's all I get in Hollywood is, let me get in there next. I want the shower. And it's like, it's hard for me.
Oh God.
So I have to do like the music, I have to do the background acting, the comedy's there. I tried to do China's doc. After China passed away, I ran her social nets, her Twitter and her Facebook. We got her into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Nice.
So I went there in April and I partied with the wrestlers all night, which was the greatest night of my life.
Nice.
That's
nice.
super dope.
Nice.
Who were some of the wrestlers there that you were excited to meet?
All of them.
Oh,
But
shit.
I was on Cloud 9 personally to see the Honky Tonk Man, Bret the Hitman Hart. I met his niece.
Bret Hart.
I met his beautiful niece. I fed her drinks. The daughter of the British Bulldog. She was wearing this leopard dress, and X-Pac from the oh my God, D-Generation X got me high on vape, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake was next to me. I felt like a dirty god, and the thing that annoyed a lot of them, I think, was I did wear the WWE fanny pack, the Women's SmackDown Championship, and I think I saw like Charlotte Flair side eye me, and because everybody else had their dresses and suits, and I'm coming in there like it's fucking meatballs, like, hey, great.
Yeah.
I got China in the Hall of Fame. Who wants to do some sliders? You know? And like the wrestlers are pretty tame when it comes to public events and whatnot. You know, they're like Navy SEALs. They're trained to go on 2 hours of sleep a week and whatnot. And yeah, nobody wanted to party. Even the after party, they have to be tame because Vince is always keeping notes.
Really? Yeah.
He is.
I've heard none of these stories. Yeah. Honestly. And I was super into wrestling when I was a kid. And into being a teenager.
Yep.
Never sneezed around him?
He hates people taking a sick day off. So if you do sneeze, he thinks you're about to ask for a day off. He thinks you're doing it on purpose, passive-aggressively, and he's very paranoid about that. If you injure your elbow last night and you cannot wrestle tonight, then I have someone younger who will take your spot. He's taking, give me that belt. You don't even deserve a goddamn belt. I want some hookers. And what was so genius about wrestling was the fact that it kind of pretty much predicted that we were going to have a heel champion as a president, that we were going to have... I mean, Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, they put him in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yes, he is.
What?
Yeah, because he
For what?
Yeah, he
For
wrestled.
what?
He did a little wrestling. He
I remember when he did the little wrestling thing. They gave him a Hall of Fame for that?
I guess so. Just...
I mean, in their justification, they're going to say because they had a couple of WrestleManias, Survivor Series, whatnot at Trump Towers, Trump casinos, and whatnot.
Oh, he paid them.
Yeah. Basically, he bought his spot. Being a supporter.
Well, they're
okay,
besties.
okay.
I mean, Linda McMahon was on Trump's cabinet for small businesses. She was the head of it.
Really?
So, yeah. And
Really?
So
This motherfucking president is fucking crazy.
And so what I'm saying is...
That's fucking nuts.
What I'm saying is up until the mid-'90s, we were championing Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, do your workout, America. And then somewhere along the line, we wanted the shitty champion. We wanted the dude to come in with 5 of his buddies and cheat and win. And that's all we ended up wanting now. And so basically Vince McMahon seeing this pretty much became his character behind the scenes on camera, and became, because they were in this Monday Night War with Ted Turner and WCW, and they were losing.
Because WCW had Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, who was the dirty champion.
And WCW bought all WWE's talent, so they had Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, they had everybody.
The New World Order and all that stuff.
And so I just would have loved to be in the boardroom one day when somebody came in and went up to Vince McMahon. They're like, hey, Vince, you know, you're sort of an asshole behind the scenes and stuff. Why don't we just roll a camera on it and you just be an asshole like you usually are on camera, and we'll put that on Raw tonight. And Vince, well, I'm just a ring commentator. I don't want to go into it. Well, let's give it a try and see if you can. All right. You're fired! I want him fired! Get in here, get on your knees like the dirty whore you are!
Oh my God.
Lick my boots! And I mean, they were doing everything at this time. I mean, we're talking 98, 99 when this is happening. Yeah. He gets in the ring. I mean, this is a crazy time. Hunter's in a casket dry humping a corpse named Katie Vick. Yeah. Wow. I mean, Triple H and X-Pac are wearing blackface to make fun of the Nation of Domination. This is this is a crazy.
I forgot about that. You know, I guess I just in a moment I just thought of it more. I guess maybe I looked at it too fast and I was like, oh, it's like kiss makeup. I just didn't think about what it was for, but now that you mention it, that's pretty bad.
I mean, every other match is bra and panties. Like, these women who have been training to be wrestlers for years, like, get down to your bra and panties. I want to see the panties. Take them off. And it's like, this is what won the WWEF back their Monday Night War ratings. This is what won it for them. Like, they won it because of this shit. And then after that, they became a public company. They became for shareholders. Linda McMahon ran for governor, and so they made it more Disney. They made it for the children, and then they disassociated themselves from that era. That was just that was a mistake. We don't want to talk talk about it and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But yeah, Vince is crazy, and I love it. I mean, can you imagine being back there wrestling 300 days a year, and he's yelling at you? You're getting 1 hour of sleep. You haven't seen
1 hour of
your kid in 5 years.
Oh my God.
Your kid is in Vince's NXT program training already, and like he's yelling at you. I've broken back my ass. Get in the ring. You're wrestling the Undertaker. I want you to fall off the cage tonight. Take a Percocet.
Take a Percocet. Oh my God.
Yeah.
After the show, yeah, I'm gonna do that after. I gotta check that out.
If Vince didn't like you, he would. If he didn't like you, because in the 80s there was still a bunch of independent territories, and Vince went around and bought them all, bought all the best talent, put them on television, and so the people that didn't go with Vince off the bat, if they did end up going to the WWE, Vince would sabotage their careers. Like a good example is Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes, legendary
He was the
fucking
man,
wrestler.
yeah.
He's the man. Vince McMahon made him wear polka dots, and Vince McMahon made him wrestle in polka dots for the duration of his career in the WWE. I want him in polka dots. You're gonna be a big fat polka dotted wrestler.
Oh my God. There should be a documentary about this dude, man. He sounds
Yeah, absolutely. That shit, I'd bust the shit out of that.
Oh my God.
Like, can you imagine that? You're a wrestler 20 years and whatnot, busting your ass in the territories, you know, wrestling at dive bars, VFWs in front of like 10 people and whatnot. You finally get to this big stage, and you have to now do it in polka dots and a strap-on. Put a strap-on on him.
Oh my God.
You can't win the title unless the crowd likes that strap-on.
That's fucked up. Damn, shots at his career, man.
But he
So-
did. If he didn't like you, he would flush your career down the toilet. I mean, there's wrestlers even worse that like went in and maybe Vince had a bad day and he's just like, toss him to the Undertaker and then you're fired.
Oh my God. And then you're fired.
You're fired.
That's
Like
fucking
this
nuts.
poor guy from Texas, 20 years, living out his dreams finally. And then maybe Vince couldn't get it up that morning with a hooker or something. So he's coming in to Monday Night Raw in a bad mood. And then this guy, hey, Vince, my name's Tommy, Tommy the Cobra from Texas. I don't want to see you. You're losing to the Undertaker tonight. Then you're fired.
And you're fired.
The Undertaker tonight and you're fired. Jesus.
Damn. Wow.
That is hilarious.
I mean, it's
That's
dark and
glorious
it's mafioso. I mean, when you talk about the music industry, if you leave a label, you're fine. You can go to another label. You can go to another. Yeah. If you leave
Start your own fucking label.
if you leave the WWE on bad terms, they will erase your career. They will have somebody else impersonate you to a large degree.
Oh my
if what you
God.
did do was working,
Right.
they will make your life a living hell. Look at China. They wouldn't even acknowledge her when they started doing tributes on WWE for the greatest women wrestlers
They didn't?
and whatnot. They would take her out of promos and whatnot. They have a cover of their new DVD, The Evolution of Women's Wrestling, and there's like 40 women on the cover, including Stephanie McMahon, Vince's daughter, and the Bella twins and whatnot. No, China! This is the only woman to win the Intercontinental title, the male championship Intercontinental title 3 times. No woman has won the Intercontinental title or the heavyweight
She should
championship.
be in there.
She wrestled Stone Cold. She was at one point the #1 contender for the heavyweight crown, and she was going to wrestle Stone Cold at SummerSlam '99 for the heavyweight championship. This woman, all only because, you know, Triple H wanted to bone Stephanie, is, you know, boom, gone.
Damn.
Yeah. And he still is. He still is. I mean, one of the wrestlers who recently left the WWE, Dean Ambrose, and he went to AEW, talked about that. That Vince at 74, 75 was still writing a script for Dean Ambrose. And one of the lines that Vince wrote was, I'm gonna need a pooper scooper for this crowd. And he didn't want to say it. He's like, dude, my character would not say pooper scooper. and Vince pulled him aside and he's like, this is gonna get the crowd to love your character. I want you to say it. And he had to say pooper scooper. So Vince is not only still pulling, behind the scenes for wrestlers or whatnot, he's still in his underwear writing dialogue at 2 a.m. for 25-year-old dudes. Doesn't leave it to the writers. It's still all his.
That's crazy.
Damn, that's deep. That's the inside grind to W.W. McMahon.
That makes me. Oh wow, that just wow.
Right?
My mind is fucking blown.
Wow.
That just makes me wonder, like, what like.
Yeah.
So like, put, just what? I'm just so like in shock. I just want to know all the other wrestlers that have had like these crazy experiences, like wrestlers.
Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart was the heavyweight champion of the WWF, and Vince McMahon on a live pay-per-view took away his title in front of millions around the world because Bret did not want to give up the title to Shawn Michaels in Canada. So Bret and Vince and Shawn talked and they're like, you don't have to. This is going to be fine. And then at the end of the match, Vince gets up from his chair and yells to the ring guy, ring the goddamn bell, and made it look like Bret submitted, and he didn't. And then Vince grabbed the championship belt, threw it at Shawn Michaels, and said, let's go.
Oh my God.
And this is 1997 and 8, dude. This is in front of millions around the world. This is not like a VFW in the 70s. Like the next day, they still had to explain all this and whatnot.
Oh my God.
Bret Hart is spitting on Vince. He punched him out backstage afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always thought all this was just an act by him.
I thought it was an act.
I thought it was an act. I had no idea that he's really actually crazy. Like I thought.
See, but that's what I was worried about with wrestling. I was like, see, this is just like when kids see wrestling and then they play wrestle, and then it gets a little too serious. The shit get a little too hot. You know what I'm saying? You know how in wrestling they do like the slap, but it's like a slap like right there.
You on the chest,
and then like your little brother do that shit and slap you right in the neck, and you be mad at the motherfucker. That's what I feel like. Wow, my mind is blown. It's all real. Well, a lot of it's real. It's reality TV before reality TV ever existed.
Ring the bell. Here's another one real quick. 2 years after that, Bret Hart's brother dies in the ring, Owen Hart. Owen Hart comes down from 90 feet above the ring as his character, the Blue Blazer. He's supposed to come down on a wire, and the wire is on a hair trigger belay. It's like on a little hair trigger, and he accidentally presses it 70 feet above the ring, comes straight down, snaps his neck on the turnbuckle, and dies.
Wow.
And Vince finishes off the pay-per-view. Like, we're going to continue. Wow. And he does. And, like, you could see the wrestlers afterwards, like, doing their promos backstage that were really close to Owen. Like, Jeff Jarrett and be like, I'm going to go out and kick that person's ass tonight.
Right.
And, like, would go to the ring, the crowd is quiet. Like, everybody knows. They just saw ambulance people doing chest compressions and an open heart massage to Owen Hart. And Vince is like, just finish the Stone Cold match. Let's go. Ring the bell.
Wow. He is a beast.
That's fucking nuts.
Damn. He sounds like our next president.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't run.
Right?
He'll probably run after Trump is done.
Yeah,
at this point.
They're going to pass the torch.
Son of a bitch.
But they're all in bed with each other. I mean, Linda McMahon was she was the head of Trump's small businesses in his cabinet. I mean, they hang out, they have fun together.
Of course. Because they're very rich people.
You know, Trump and Vince are probably calling each other every night talking about the storylines they're throwing on their particular companies and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Vince McMahon's like, I'm making this 39-year-old washed-up Brock Lesnar champion. And Trump is like, hey, I'm building another wall. Yeah. Let's do it. You want to go to Sizzler next weekend?
Wow. You want to go to Sizzler next weekend?
Crazy.
Holy shit, dude.
Yo, so also, like, in your comedy, you use the guitar and stuff. When when did you first learn to play, and how did you get into the music and all that stuff?
When I was 18 years old, I bought a guitar off my youth group minister in high school, Massachusetts.
Wow, that was weirder than I expected, and I should have expected pretty weird.
Ovation, $180.
Okay.
And he wasn't even using it, man. He
It's like an
wasn't even using
electric
it.
guitar?
No. It was just an acoustic.
Nice.
And then I had a bunch of close friends who were in metal bands. A couple of them ended up touring the world and whatnot that I would start playing around.
Mm-hmm.
And then they let me go to their metal shows. We'd all hang out. I'm a pop person. And I just started writing some cheesy metal songs and making fun of them and stuff. And I'm like, this song is called I Put a Baby in You. I put a baby in you because you kept talking about going to college. And and so, very much a very New England song. If you see your girls flirting at a party and she might go to photography school or something, you got to do something about that.
Yeah.
You gotta do something about that. You gotta take the condom off and ring the bell. And so basically, I started doing the songs on the guitar, and I couldn't play live because I was left-handed. The guitar was upside down. It was a right-handed guitar.
Did you teach yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I still play upside down. And so basically, I taught a metal band the songs, and then that guitarist could wail the shit out of them. And so I'd go into a jam space, and I'm like, I got eyebrow dandruff, balding hair, braces, Hawaiian shirt, just a weird-looking character and stuff. And I'm like, this song is called I'm Sorry Your Cat Has Ass Cancer. And then I play this riff, and this band would be like, dude, that's really good.
That's really good.
And then the band would turn into a full sounding drums, guitars. I had some great musicians. Look them up, from Andrew WK, Kill Switch Engage, Unearth. And these guys were ferocious, and they would make these simple sounding songs. I'm like, this song is called Finish Her Up with Sex Moves. And then and it literally led to me getting a job at CBS Radio, touring Warped Tour. I got covered by Corey Taylor from Slipknot, having this whole life with this character that was like Jim Morrison up in New England. I believe in Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and taking the condom off, New England. 2 pumps. The first pump comes in slow like a weasel, and then that second pump comes in fast like a dirty shark. Go Celtics, go Bees. This song is called Crucial Dude.
Crucial Dude. That's fucking awesome.
That's the greatest.
That's dope as shit, man.
But they didn't like me. If I played a show as me, if I played a show with leggings and I'm like, this song's called Hot Dogs and Applesauce, I would have dudes, and I have, come up to me after the show and be like, dude, the shit you're doing right now is kind of queer, huh? You're doing folk shit now, dude?
You doing folk shit now,
You're doing
dude?
this queer stuff in leggings now, dude? Hey, and they're saying it I used to be this racist, I used to be this band DJ, and they're like, dude, you don't do the accent anymore, man, and make fun of women in a misogynistic type way, and be shitty. You used to be Shitty Robbie, remember, dude? You take the condom off, you were great. You were great. You don't want to do that anymore for us, dude?
They were really trying to live vicariously through that character. Shit, man.
They did. I was bringing in a girl one time for Indian food, and this dude pulls me aside in Cambridge on the street. He's like, dude, I just got out of Walpole prison, man, and they used to pump you in every day, CBS Radio. You are a fucking god, dude. I just got off the oxys, and, dude, you're not doing I Put a Baby in You anymore, man? Seriously. What is this? You're doing, protest shit now, dude? Remember? Take the condom off, 2 pumps. And I'm standing next to this girl that I've been talking about, Tori Amos, for the last 30 minutes. And, yeah. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren does have a chance, and I believe in our future. Hey, you're Dirty Robbie, no condom, 2 pumps, get over here.
That's hilarious.
Did that guy just call you Dirty Robbie? No, come on, Melissa, let's go. Hey, take the condom off.
That's hilarious.
That's fucking wild.
So I don't go back to Boston. I can't go back there.
When was the last time you were there?
I was there the last time to do a Robbie Road Steamer reunion show. Because I still get paid. great. I want the money.
Yeah, right. Hell yeah.
So it's like I can bring, as me in leggings, maybe 50 people to a club, maybe, possibly, in Cambridge. Robbie Road Steamer brought 500 sweaty, shitty dudes from New England all to a club for me to throw cheeseburgers out to the crowd from McDonald's and do like my 10 songs, including Triple H's theme song. This was after China died. It gets really weird.
Wow.
And I can get up there, I'm like, because me, I mean, people are like, oh, that guy hung out with China. But if I'm up there, I used to be with China. I used to put her in my finisher. My finisher was the company car. And I get on her back and I put her in the company car. And it's much more convincing that I hung out with her when I'm in character.
Yeah. Wow. God damn, man. That's a great story. Where we at?
Yeah.
All right, pretty good. Wow.
Killed it. Great.
That's dope.
Right? So we're right on 20. So Rob, is there anything like you're working on outside of of course the Ding Dong Show? Anything else you got plotting on or scheming on yourself?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm always collabing, creating. So, I mean, I just finished off a pilot yesterday up in Los Feliz at some dude's mansion where he wanted me to be Robbie Road Steamer for 2 hours as his best friend. I'm like, hey, buddy, what's the script for this? He's like, no, just come over and be shitty to me as Robbie Road Steamer. I'm like, all right. I come over his house, the dude's like in this beautiful pool on a unicorn float, and like he just literally, he has a full crew, and these people have worked on so many other shows, and it's like they got a sound guy and all this shit and stuff, and literally they all like, are you gonna be shitty for him? 2 hours? I'm like, let's do it. Needle Dick, get out of the pool. We got some work to do. And so, I mean, a lot of my stuff you can just find daily on my Instagram, on YouTube's, or, my name, Potlylo. Obviously, you're not going to remember it, so just look up hot dogs and applesauce. I put a baby in you, Robbie Road Steamer. I'm always doing shit. We're going to be at the Ding Dong Show tomorrow night. We're going to have
you guys going to do Ding Dong tomorrow night?
Yeah.
You know, it's been a while since I've been. I think I might go.
Yeah.
It is like a Doors movie right now. It is like an Oliver Stone movie. There are so many vape pens, so many drugs, so many people are having sex right now. It is like our summer of 67 there, like the Doors at the Whiskey in 67. But yeah, seriously. And I told people it was going to be a sexual summer. And then 3 weeks ago, I had unprotected sex there with a beautiful girl, and I might have a baby. And pretty much.
He said I might have a baby.
We talk about it a lot on the show each week because the way I met the girl was she was on the host podcast, Don Barris, and they were just talking. I'm like, you know what? She seems, with the way Don's yelling at her, to be quiet and to stop asking questions. I think she's the one. But we have a great time. We're usually there till 5 in the morning?
Yeah, 3 to 5. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's a marathon.
Yeah, we finished at 2.
Well, it's not the belly room. We start off in the belly room usually to midnight. And then from midnight to 1:30, we go to the secret garden and we get stoned. There's a secret garden at the Comedy Store. And then we talk to people. We're usually high off of our shows. So for an hour, we believe anything's possible again. We make our small talk. We try to get laid. And then they put us in the original room for another 30 minutes and whatnot. And we do a Q&A where all the actual comedians haze us and ask us questions. Yeah. I'll usually get questions I got a question for the trapeze artists or the
Trapeze artists.
Or for me, it's Venus Williams.
That's hilarious. They called you Venus.
Yeah, no, they still do, dog. All the time.
I
got a question for Venus Williams, fan.
and they'll get,
Killing me.
and they'll ask you a question.
I think it's the beard that separates them, really.
They'll ask you about Wimbledon, and you answer. You're a pro, And basically, we finish that off at 3 in the morning. We're there till 5 a.m. on the patio, just blazing and being debaucherous. And then finally, I don't know what happens. I black out and I end up in my bed.
Yep,
there you
that's
go.
Pretty much it. That's the Ding Dong Show.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the Ding Dong Show.
On Mondays.
Well, good. Well, that was a good show. We wrapping up, so I guess we'll do the social media and whatnot. I guess we'll go around. We'll do Rob, myself, Tom, and then we'll close with Will the Thrill down the end and whatnot. So
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Potlylo on the Instagram, on the Facebook, on the YouTube. If that's too complicated, just type in hot dogs and applesauce, Robbie Road Steamer, or I Put a Baby in You. Go down one of my wormholes. Let's bond. Let's get creepy together.
That's right. And thanks
Super
again,
down.
Rob Potlyo, man.
Oh, yeah, Rob Potlyo,
Hell
absolutely.
yeah. And I'm Mr. CD Enforcer, a.k.a. Poppy Carlo on the Insta Jesus and whatnot. Also, check out the Skitbags Street Team on all formats. Check out our Fast Fives. Check out anything the Skitbags do, such as the Clapper, which is out there on the iTunes and whatnot. Check out the Office Uprising on Crackle. Check out the Scramble movie, which is also out there and everything. Also, check out what's coming up, Sherlock Homie. I'm also running for president, so check out Tony 2020 for president. Anywhere you can do it. Carl Anthony for president. It's serious. It's real. Take the $1 challenge and fuck with your boy, and always fuck with Skitbags Radio.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
The
right.
Ding Dong Show.
That's right. And GT's Comedy Jam.
There you go. T McD. Oh, really? I did. I changed it. I forgot. I had to rewatch the last episode to remember what I wanted to change the other two to. So my Instagram is now It's Will Toussaint. It was Funk in Your Face, which
That's a great name.
it is. I really love it. It's just that it's very unprofessional. It's just not gonna work. And the thing is, it's like it's. And also, it's very confusing to people because sometimes, like the way I address people are like, "Oh, like you play music?" I'm like, "No, and not at all, not at all. Can't do it." So I play funk. It's weird when people are like, I'm like, yeah, my Instagram is Funk in Your Face. They're like, "Oh, you play funk?" No, no, that's a reference to oral sex. That's what that's a reference to. I meant like
classy.
fucking. I was gonna say fuck in your face, but I was like, you can't say fuck in your face on Instagram. So what about funk in your face? That's close enough. When you say it fast, it still sounds the same. So it's not funk in your face anymore. It's Will Toussaint. Yeah. There's just the one it's though. That was hard to get through. And then the Twitter is Will_or_won't. I don't remember what I was gonna change it to. I think I was gonna change it to not Will Toussaint. And then my Facebook is just William Olajuwon Toussaint. And check out the Mix and Serve. Still up. We got Fight Dub, new episode coming out soon. And that's it for me, man.
Well, there it is. All
Wu-Tang
right.
Clan.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys.
Thanks again,
Thank you
Rob.
guys. This
Yeah,
was
man.
incredible. This is changing my life. I'm filming right now. You guys
Oh,
for my
nice.
social
I
nets.
thought you were gonna take a selfie, and I was like, you can just use the screen from the other side.
Not in real
he's
time.
like, click. I was like, what's wrong with your other camera?
This is like for my Instagram story. So when you go in real
nice.
time, you guys are in real time with me.
Oh,
so-
that's dope.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
super excited about that.
But thank you guys so much. This is going to make
Thank you, man.
the rest of my day when I'm home alone listening to Elliott Smith and doing dabs and punching my groin for an orgasm better. Like it's a very lonely life after this. But
That is an impressive lifestyle. Yeah,
Yes.
Dad Falcon, fly high.
Yeah,
Fly high, Dad Falcon. Woo!
Yeah.
All
Skitbags
right.
Radio. We out.
Skitbags.
The Dab Falcon.
Skitbags Radio.